Right, it's time for another British Guy Reviews American Beer. And today we've got a bit of a classic. We have a bottle of Sierra Nevada, and it's the Pale Ale. A beer that probably needs no introduction, but obviously was one of, let's say, the pioneer beers of what we kind of know today as the craft beer explosion. And that was in the States, but also back in the UK. So I remember first drinking this beer, picking it up on a supermarket shelf and thinking, what the heck is this? Taking it home, and it being just completely different to anything that I'd had before. I was used to my lagers. We drink a lot of lager in the UK. Used to my stouts, my brown ales, a lot of German and Belgian beer, that kind of thing. Not really that familiar with anything coming out of the States. So Sierra Nevada was the Pale Ale was kind of the first introduction to that American hop flavor. So here I am, 20 years later, with a bottle of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and I'm going to do a YouTube review, and it all feels a bit strange. This beer's had a big influence on, well, on me and my own kind of beer journey, going back to those days, but also when I do a bit of home brewing, and I do remember sitting in a parking lot or car park outside a home brewing supply store and building my first ever recipe for a pale ale. And where did I go first? Google Sierra Nevada Pale Ale clone, and pretty much based that whole recipe on this beer. So no pressure. It's been a little while since I've had it, which is a shame because it's kind of, I remember it as kind of a go-to beer, but there's so many beers in the world nowadays, and in the world of Untapped, you're always looking for new and new and new. And it seems a bit of a shame that sometimes some of these beers that are super readily available and so enjoyable are kind of overlooked now, even though they're everywhere. But we're always looking for that something we've never had before. So I'm hoping this is a kind of a bit of a reminder to go back to some of these beers and just remember how good they are. I did manage to dig out my Sierra Nevada glass as well, so we're going 100% Sierra Nevada here. Okay, there we are. It is a copper-colored, I would say, copper-colored beer. Slightly dark for what we quite often get nowadays on the market for kind of IPAs and pale ales. Nice fluffy white head, lots of carbonation in there. It looks it's quite agitated actually. So yeah, very excited to get my nose into it, get a smell, and then have a taste. It's just as I remember. There's caramel, a bit of toffee. You get some grapefruit, some kind of grapefruit pith from the hops, and it just smells super clean. Bit of earthiness as well. Cheers. It's just super easy drinking. Up front, you kind of just get that smoothness of the beer. It's not there's there's hop flavor there. There's that a little bit of caramel and toffee, There's that nice, a little bit of like grassy and citrus hop flavor, and then after you've swallowed the beer and you swallow again, you get the bitterness, and you get a nice wave of bitterness, and it leaves a kind of bitterness right in the back of the palate here, which is kind of encouraging me to go and drink some more, which I will do happily. I remember this beer as being intense hoppy back in the day, and I think that probably kind of demonstrates how much our palates have changed over the last 20 years as more and more of these hoppy beers have come onto the market. But yeah, this takes me back. It's super enjoyable, super drinkable. I love that, just that lovely balance with the grapefruit rind, the a little bit of pine, that bitterness and coming from the hops, and then that caramel sweetness there as well. Super clean, nice and refreshing, super easy drinking. I'm going to have to remind myself of the ABV. So it's a 5.6% ABV beer. It's right there in the in that you know in the sweet spot for a crushable pale ale. Um, Absolutely delicious. I mean, it's kind of good to know that longevity at the end of the day is a sign of quality, right? Sierra Nevada have been brewing this beer for many years. I would say relatively unchanged, and you know, still there, still in the supermarket shelves, still all over, and still holding its own against everything that's going on around it. So, I mean, congratulations to Sierra Nevada. What a tremendous beer. Um, and long may it remain and continue so that we can keep enjoying it. Um, yeah, cheers. I'm going to rate it. I'm trying not to be, um, I'm trying to rate the beer for what it is and not for kind of my own little personal backstory and my own memories of the beer. Um, so out of five, I will give Sierra Nevada Pale Ale a 3.8 out of 5. Very, very good beer, delicious beer. Um, Absolutely, having drunk it this time, I'm not going to overlook it again when I'm looking in the supermarket and looking for that newness. I'm going to fall back on a six pack of this and enjoy it. Um, so yeah, 3.8 out of 5. Great score, great beer, and I hope you think so too. And I hope it continues to be as popular as it has been. So cheers. Hope you like the video. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Always want to hear your comments. Um, I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of stories related to this beer, so I'd love to hear them. So yeah, just comment in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.